Hi everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm so happy that you're here today. Today we're going to be talking about a project that I've been working on all year long. This started in January. This is a mystery knit along project. Every month I get a new set of clues and I knit them up and then I share them here with you. I'm talking about the Japanese sampler scarf. This pattern is by Tony L. Lorenz. All the information for this pattern and my project page and Ravelry is in the description box below. Now, Tony L. Lorenz is basing, she is using two different Japanese knitting stitch Bible books as a basis for as inspiration for her designs. These two books by Hitomi Shida, there's the 250 stitch knitting stitches, and then the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, which has 200, is book 260. So these two books are the books she's using as inspiration for the patterns in this scarf. And there's a slight transition to the next month's pattern, and it changes. And you can see where they're changing because they're subtle. Now the outer edge stays the same, but the other stuff in the middle and right next to the outer edge is what's changing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is my scarf. As you can see, it's getting so big I can't even hold it back like this, and you can see the full length of it. This is it. This is my scarf with September finished. Now I've been marking off each section with a let me turn it this way. I've been marking off each section with a different stitch marker so you can see the different months where they start and end, but you can also see where they start and end when you take a look at it. I'm going to show you from January to February up close here in a second. Before I get into that, I do want to mention this is the yarn I'm using, Manis del Uruguay Fino yarn. It's an extra fine merino and silk yarn, 70% extra fine merino wool, 30% silk. Really awesome yarn. It's single ply, has amazing stitch definition, and I'm using the color filigree, which is this golden yellow, which is I absolutely love. Now I've used this yarn for other projects before, and I knew that it had great stitch definition, and that's why I'm using it here. I don't have my fan on, so I'm a little hot. I'm going to show you where it starts with January. As you can see where the stitch marker is, that's where January ends and February begins. And if you look closely, you can see how it starts to transition. Like right here, you can see where it starts. It has this cable here, and then right here it changes and goes into a different type of cable. And as you can see, that is right exactly where the stitch marker is, where it starts to change that cable. So that was, then it starts into February. And it has these gorgeous cabled hearts for February, which I really love. Then it starts going into March, where it has all these beautiful leaves. And then you get into April. And all the thing I'm learning about Japanese lace, it has a lot of cabling. Now we start getting into these interesting wrap stitches, which are awesome. And some bobbling. And then I love this open lace work stitch with the cables. And then here again we get more into the wrap stitch again. This type of lace, and look at this center panel right here. Oh, it's so pretty. And then into this section with the angel wings, butterfly wings with bobbles in the center. And then this was last month's with the wrap stitches again. And then right here where this stitch marker starts, we're to September. And this is September's clue. And you can see for September, it starts right here where the stitch marker is, and you can see how this transitions. Have like a more closed cabling right here, and then you have these beautiful lace stitches with some bobbles. It's like a traveling vine lace. So pretty. Now this again, remember this cable right here is staying the same all the way through the side. I'll show you what the inspiration is for that, and then I'll show you what the inspiration is for the center stitches. Now, out of this book, this cable here is based on book 260, pattern 195. I'll try to put it beside so you can see the inspiration for it and see what she is showing here. But it's this one here, and it's the same for this one right here, these two outer cables. Now for the rest of the design, it was based on book 250, pattern 79, and that one is the main inspiration for the traveling vine. This section in here with the bobbles, you can see how she drew from that, which I just absolutely love. I think it's my favorite part of this scarf this month, is that. And then the other pattern she drew inspiration from was book 260, pattern 163. That's more inspiration for these cables along this edging here. And again, on this side right here, that cable. And that's this month for September. I think this is one of my favorites. I absolutely adore it. And I love the openness of it. I like more open lace patterns anyway. So I really love September's clue. Hey everybody, so this month I am combining September and October's clues for this Japanese sampler scarf. For the month of October, we have a longer clue. Usually we have like 48 rows of knitting for each clue, but this time she made it 60 rows, so there was two nice long charts. Let me show you October's. I have just shown you in this video January through September, so I'm not going to show you the whole scarf. I'm just going to show you through October. You can see it starts right here where this stitch marker is. I'll show it up close so you can see what it looks like. Get it untwisted here. And you can see how it does transition. If you look at it closely, you can see how these cables are staying the same on both sides throughout the whole project. But you can see right in here how this cable was going along in this fashion, and then now, you know, it's just a twisty cable of 2. Now it's becoming a twisty or a straight cable of 3, and then it goes into more twisty stuff, and then straight cable of 3 again. And you can see how this design is really lots of cables and twists. You can see how you had this one cable here that brings both sides over each other. I'm going to show you how to do that cable. That was a new cable. You can see how these lines are going across, defining it more. And then you have this really open section here in the center. Really beautiful. I think it's really nice and really regal. I'm going to show you a picture of, again, these are inspired. I mentioned this early in the video by these 2 books by Tomashita, the Japanese knitting stitch Bibles. And I'm going to lay this down for October and show you side by side the inspiration for this month's pattern and see if you guys can see it. Alright, this is again this month's pattern inspiration, or this is this month's pattern from this up. And you can see again, like I said, you can see how things will transition. This cable is staying the same all the way throughout the whole length of the project, as is this one. And these 2 cables are inspired by book 260, pattern 195. I've been showing you this every month. That's the same inspiration. Alright, and it's just really pretty, really simple, easy cable, mock cable stitch. Now you can see here, this is all changing here. This really interesting cable here. You have these changing into 3 cables, getting twisty, and then going on all the way up. And then that, of course, is some different stuff there. Okay, so let's take a look at this. There's 2 patterns that was inspired this month's clue, and this is from book 250, the 250 Japanese Knitting Stitches by Tomoshita. Pattern number 129 inspired these here, these cables, and this twisty cable, this outer cable here. That is all inspired by BK pattern 129. I'll put it side by side, try to keep the camera still so you can see it. Now, for the next part, it was inspired by the same book, book 250, pattern 130, and it's these parts in here, these twisty cables here with the lines going across them was inspired, and then this part here, all of this was inspired by pattern number 130. I'll put it side by side so you can see it. Again, this part, these cables twisting with the lines across, was all inspired by that. This must have been inspired by something else. I don't see it in either one of these designs, and I'm not sure. Let's see if she mentions it. No, that's all she really mentions. It must be from another pattern up below that she didn't mention, but you can see the inspiration from those. I'll try to keep it still. And then that's the month of October. We still have a couple more months, November and December, and then this will be finished up. And it's a really nice long scarf. As you can see, this is all of it getting all wrapped up. Now we'll move on to the stitches for September and October. The one thing I want to mention now is I want to talk about the stitches for this scarf for this month. Now again, don't forget, there are 2 pages of stitches for this scarf, for this project. At the end, I will do a tutorial on all the stitches used for this project, so you can evaluate if you want to do it yourself, or you can have them as a tutorial if you want to knit this later on. The video will be on YouTube for indefinitely. So for this shawl, for this scarf, all of the stitches for this month were the same. There were 2 cables that I've shown you guys before. The cable 1BP 1FL, which is a back cable leaning to the right, and then the cable 1FL 1BP, which is a left leaning cable, which is also brought to the front. Then there's 2 new cables, and they're both LL. One is green, one is pink. One is, the only difference between the 2 is one is held, the stitch on the cable needle is held to the back. On the other one, the stitch on the cable needle is held to the front. But I will show you those now. Alright, I'm doing the Japanese sampler lace scarf. I'm going to teach you how to do this stitch. It's this stitch here. It's a cable, whoops, crooked, cable 1FL 1BL. Left means it's going to lean to the left, and it involves 2 stitches. So grab your cable needle and let's get started. One other way you can also learn on this, another trick for these Japanese stitches, if the cable starts with 1B or 1F. 1B means that you're going to take the stitches to the back. 1F means you're going to take the stitches to the front. So since we're going to be doing this stitch, 1FL, we're going to put the stitch on the cable, take it to the front. So here I am. Take it to the front. On this particular stitch variation, you knit through the back loop on both of these stitches, you do the stitch that's on the needle first, and then you knit off the stitch that is on the cable needle. Knit that through the back loop, and that's how you do that particular cable stitch. There's another cable stitch on this row that I will show you here in just a minute. Alright, I'm to the part in the pattern where I'm going to do this cable stitch. It's a cable 1BL, 1FL. As you can see, it leans to the right, involves 2 stitches. Because it starts with a 1B, you're going to take that stitch that you put on the cable needle to the back. So let's get started. So you have your knitting, you put your first stitch on the cable needle, again take it to the back, and then this particular variation you're just going to knit through the back loop of both stitches. So you're going to do a knit through the back loop of the stitch that's on your knitting needles, and then now you knit through the back loop on the stitch that's on your cable needle, and then that's done, and that's what it looks like. Alright, I'm going to show you how to do a bobble. This designer does a 5-stitch bobble, but I like to do 7 stitches because it gives you more room. So you knit into the stitch where you're making the bobble. Do not pull it off the left hand needle. I like to do a double yarn over. Most people just do a yarn over, but I like to do a double yarn over because it gives you more room. Then you do a knit in that same stitch. Do another double yarn over, and then knit into the same stitch. Once you've done that, you can take that stitch off the needle, and you have 7 stitches instead of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when you get to the wrong side, you're going to open up those double yarn overs. You'll end up with 5 stitches, and you'll purl through that. I'll show you when I get to the wrong side. Alright, now I'm to the point where I'm on the wrong side. I'm to the noop. I'm going to close this up. So what I first do is I put all the stitches on the right hand needle, and I release that double yarn over here. Let me show you. This is double yarn over. I'm just going to pull both of them off. So now my 7 stitches have become 5, and you can see by doing that double yarn over, you have a lot more extra room in here to work with your stitches. You put all your 5 stitches back onto your knitting needle. Oh, you're going to be purling these, so you want to make sure your yarn's in the front, just like what I did. Stick your needle in as if to purl. Purl the 5 stitches together like that. You're done. That's what your bobble looks like, and that's what it looks like. It'll puff up in texture as you go on. There's a stitch in this pattern that's just a knit 3 together. You do a yarn over before and a yarn over after, but it's really simple. It's just what it sounds. You take the next 3 stitches on your knitting needle, insert your right hand needle through all 3, knit them all together, just like that. Looks like I knit 2 together. It's a right landing decrease, but there are 3 stitches, and that's what that looks like. And then you do a yarn over. The next stitch is a purl stitch, so when you do a yarn over and the next stitch is a purl stitch, you have to bring the yarn to the front so that it wraps completely around your knitting needle. Knit through the back loop, purl, and then knit. Alright, we're going to be doing the stitches for October's sampler scarf, Japanese sampler scarf. There are three new stitches for October. 3 cables, 3 complicated cables. It is this one. I'm going to show you this one first. These 2 we've done before, but this cable here, it's very long name, cable 3FL PL 4BP LFL. It's a left leaning cable. It involves 7 stitches. This is what it looks like on a chart. It's an L dot L dot L dot L. It's a 7 stitch, involves 7 stitches. I'm going to be using a swatch in a worsted weight wool so that maybe we can see this a little bit better than just the fingering weight that I'm using. Plus, this is a complicated stitch and I don't want to get it all screwed up. I didn't film this as I was going along, and I should have. I usually do that, but I didn't. So this is just a stockinette stitch swatch. Alright, to do this cable, you take 3 stitches and put them on your cable needle, and you hold it to the front, and then you're going to knit through the back loop, purl. This is off of your left hand needle. Knit through the back loop again, whoops, and purl. Then you go to your cable needle in front, and you're going to knit through the back loop, purl the next stitch, and knit through the back loop, and you're twisting. You're forming a left leaning twisted stitch. This is a knit through the back loop on the last stitch, the 7th stitch. So you're just alternating knit through the back loop, purl on this cable, and this is what it ends up looking like. You see it's leaning to the left and involves 7 stitches. And there you go. Kind of makes the whole knitting below it start to lean to the left, as you can see. Alright, the next stitch that we did for the month of October is this green L dot L dot L, and it's a cable 2BPL 3FLPL. It's a right leaning cable stitch involving 5 stitches. So to do that one, you take 2 stitches and put them on the cable needle, hold it to the back, just hold them to the back, and then on the left hand needle you knit the next stitch through the back loop, kind of pull it tight, purl the next stitch, and then knit the next stitch through the back loop, and then you go to the cable needle and you purl the next stitch that's on the cable needle, which is the first stitch on your cable needle, and then you knit the last stitch on your cable needle through the back loop. Whoops. And this is what it looks like. As I said, it's a right leaning cable. Oh, hold on, that's what's causing me pain and difficulty. I had to grab that stitch. Okay, there we go. So now it's a right leaning cable, 5 stitches. As you can see, it's right leans because you held your 2 stitches on the cable needle to the back, and that's what it looks like. Alright, so now the last cable stitch we did for the month of October that was new is a little bit different, just a little bit different. 2 stitches less, so it's a 5 stitch cable involving leaning to the left. It's a 3FL PL 2BPL L dot L dot L. Alright, to do this stitch, you're going to take 3 stitches, the next 3 stitches, put them on your cable needle, hold it to the front. And on the next stitch that's on your left hand needle, you're going to knit through the back loop, just like that. Then you're going to purl the next stitch. Then you're going to go to the stitches on your cable needle, and you're going to alternate that as well. You're going to do a knit through the back loop on the first stitch, then do a purl stitch on the next stitch, and then the last stitch on your cable needle, you'll do a knit through the back loop. Again, this is a left leaning cable since you hold your stitches to the front, and that's what it looks like. And those are the 3 new cables that we did in the Japanese lace sampler scarf for this month. As you can see, this was the here, and we had some really strong leaning crossing over, and that's probably where that was involved if I remember correctly. And in here where things are crossing over a lot, and in here. So now I have a little bit of a surprise for you guys who are watching this project, and I know you guys, a lot of you guys watch this project religiously. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm not going to post that there is a giveaway in this video. This is like a little special thank you for those of you who watch the Japanese lace sampler scarf project all the time. So for my monetization party, I had a lot of things I bought and I didn't get to give away. I guess I overbought. And one of the things I wanted to give away in that party was this book. This is called 1000 Japanese Knitting and Crochet Stitches book. Now this book is not by Hitomi Shida. This is by Nihon Vogue, and it was translated by Gail Rowam. This has all kinds of stitch patterns in here. They're knitting stitch patterns, and there are beautiful crochet stitch patterns in here. And each one has charts. There's charts for the crochet and there's charts for the knitting. And there's some color work in here. These are all Japanese stitches. This is a very thick book. It's almost 300 pages long, very heavy. Oh, it is over 300 pages long. It goes into knitting symbols. It has some really nice edgings in here. I'm going to give this book away to one person. I only have one book. So I want to ask you guys to put a comment down below. Now remember, this is only sponsored by myself and my husband. It's not sponsored by YouTube. The rules for the giveaway will be down in the box below, so please read them. So, but to enter this, if you want to win this book, put a comment down in the comments below, and I will ask you guys to put the word, how about, since I'm trying to make it different, because how about we'll put the person's name who wrote this, the first name, N-I-H-O-N, Nihon, N-I-H-O-N, not their last name, just their first name, N-I-H-O-N. That will be the word for this giveaway, and I will pick a winner. I'll put the date that I'm going to pick a winner down in the comments below. I'll have to look at my schedule and figure that out, but as a thank you for watching this project, and I do have this wonderful book to give away. It's amazing. It's an amazing resource to have. Lots and lots and lots of beautiful patterns in here. So thank you so much, and good luck to each and every one of you. All right, that is this project for September. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you like seeing the updates on this project. I would love for you to knit along with me. I really honestly believe if you want to jump in and get started on this now, you can still catch up, because again, you only get 1 clue a month. So we still have 3 full months, and you could easily get caught up from January to September if you want to knit this along with me. If you don't, if you want to wait till later, see how this finishes up, you know, this video will be online indefinitely. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching the stitch tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you are new here, I like to talk about knitting and crochet. We would love to have you join us. For all of you who are here time and time again, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching my videos, for supporting me, for commenting and making my day on all my projects. I love each and every one of you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.